morning, everyone. Thank you very much for having me. I would probably need 20 minutes to give you a rundown of vanadium. And I'm going to be here for 2 days, so please stop by and I can explain all of my knowledge about vanadium, the vanadium market, and all the fundamentals of supply and demand that are driving this metal to be the best performing metal in 2017 and 18. So my name is Paul Cowley, President and CEO of First Vanadium. It was formerly Cornerstone Metals, which is focused on our Carlin Vanadium Project, the largest and highest grade primary vanadium deposit in all of North America. And this is located, very interestingly enough, in the Carlin Gold Trend of Nevada, with all that infrastructure and great location. And going to have to talk a little bit about vanadium just to give you a little bit of a starter, but vanadium is an alloy that strengthens steel, and it's also an ideal metal for batteries for storing large amounts of electricity. I want to just keep it very simple on that and come to my booth to give us more, but it has been a very, very strong cycle of vanadium over the last 3 years of its metal price increase. And in the last 4 months, there's been some aberrations where there was just too much of an acceleration in the metal price in September, October, and obviously a natural pullback in price, which obviously spooks some people about vanadium that don't know it, but you're starting to get some clear signs of a stabilizing metal price of vanadium. And I believe that all those fundamentals of strong demand and short supply will still be in effect. They're still there. So I believe that the metal price will still stay at a very, very high price for a number of years. I want to introduce our company now because it's such a short time frame, but this is a starting point. We have a very strong share price, share structure, and financial picture. We're about 39 million shares out. We're trading at about 80 cents now. Market cap is about 35 million. We've got $2 million in cash, and we've got warrants that are all in the money at 24 and 45 cents that can bring us another $2.6 million. So we're in very, very good financial position. And this is showing the great performance that we had in 2018 since we picked up this property. You can see a great acceleration in our share price through most of the year, principally driven by delivering technical milestones on this project because it was an unknown, or it was a historic resource. We picked it up and started doing drilling, metallurgy, and delivering good milestones to the marketplace. You see at the end of the year, a slide. I believe it's principally because there was some profit taking naturally from some shareholders. It certainly wasn't the insiders. And then November, December was abysmal for everyone. We got caught up in that sell-off fear in the marketplace. So that's basically where we've down. You can see that we've started to bottom out and stabilize. It was also over a period when the vanadium price was starting to come off. But again, we're seeing stability. And we see value going forward in this next year, 2019, with a number of things that we're going to be presenting. And it's all underpinned by great value, great fundamentals of this company, principally great people, great project, great share structure, and good timing being in this vanadium. We're still in this a very, very positive vanadium cycle. I've alluded to most of these points, but I just point out about the company. It's run by professional geologists and engineers who have been successful with major mining companies in the past. There's in the board of directors and advisors and consultants, we have over 400 years of an industry experience under our belt. So we know what we're doing. We've done it before with major companies, and we see a lot of benefit in applying our skill sets to this particular project. The location, it's hard to beat this location. We're right in the Carlin Gold Trend, halfway between Salt Lake City and Elko. We're 6 miles south by road of the town of Carlin, which is a mining district and mining town. Carlin is a major rail hub that goes to both coasts. So there's power within 5 miles. The nearby communities are mining communities. Just gives you so much advantage in speeding up projects, your efficiencies, cost savings. It's just and then being in this jurisdiction that permits projects to mines. This is a very, very successful region. You couple the location and infrastructure with the technical merits of the project, and this is a very, very interesting project. So this is a deposit that was discovered in the 60s. It was drilled off by Union Carbide. They couldn't do in those days the metal price and the metallurgy of the day wasn't economic for them, but things have changed over the last 50 years. So we continued to drill it. So it's systematically drilled. It's a large deposit, still open to expand. Great benefit is that it's relatively flat dipping, shallow to flat, and near surface. So that the stripping ratio is, we're estimating, under 2.5 to 1. And it's in soft rock, so the mining, blasting, crushing, grinding costs we think are going to be very low. And we've got very, very high vanadium grades. So we've got thick intercepts that range from 0.5% V2O5 to up to 1.5%. That may not be any meaningful to you, but I'm going to give you some context in a second. And we've also done preliminary metallurgy that's showing good signs of between 80 and 95% vanadium extraction out of the rock. It's basically a black shale hosted deposit. It's a bed of black shale that's got concentrated vanadium. So it's layer cake geology, quite simple. It's large area. The deposit, that thick zone is about 35 meters thick, about 2 kilometers long in the north-south direction, but about 3/4 of a kilometer wide in the east-west direction, and shallow dipping. This historic resource was compliant in 2010, done by SRK using the old Union Carbide data. So 28 million tons of 0.2 or 0.52 won't mean anything to you, but if people here are gold or copper buffs, that 0.5 is equivalent of a 5-gram gold deposit or a 3.5% copper deposit at that size. This is a very, very significant deposit. We've done 2 drill programs that have verified the historic work and expanded it. I'm going to give you just a brief on that in a second. We'll be looking to do a resource calculation next month with all this drill information. This is a look at the deposit on the right. This is the 2-kilometer stretch of it, and the drilling that Union Carbide done in green. Our spring program in red, just highlighting the density of drilling, and in the table, just simply doing a cross-section in the southern part, showing the high grades that you're getting. This section averages 0.9% V2O5, which would be the equivalent of about 8 grams of gold. You can see that they're near surface and thick intercepts, very consistent along that stretch. And then we did a summer program of 69 holes that continued. Half of those holes were infill, the other half were expansion, or mineralization expansion or extension. You can see the this is a press release we put out just yesterday on the final results. The areas in red are really the areas that we've pushed out the mineralization, so we're very successful in the infill to verify the grades, but also expanding the mineralization. So now the deposit has 216 holes into it, and these are some of the highlights of those intercepts. 73 meters from surface at 0.6 is the equivalent of 5.7 grams of gold. And the 48 meters at 1% is the equivalent of 9.7 grams of gold starting from surface. Just briefly about our team, I mentioned that we're professional engineers and geologists. This is our board and some of our advisors. We've got, I'm a professional geologist. I've discovered gold deposits up in the Canadian Arctic of 6 million ounces of gold. We've got 2 mining engineers that are operating engineers that have been general managers of major mines for major companies. We've got 2 metallurgists that we're showing here. We have another 3 metallurgists that are part of the group, and a construction engineer and business people. So we've, as I mentioned, 400 years of industry experience. And finally, just a little bit about the timeline. The first four bubbles are showing what we did in the first year. We did 2 raises, all oversubscribed. We raised about $4 million. We still have $2 million of that left after 2 drill programs. That's really cost effective. And the metallurgy is an ongoing thing that we're working through. And you're seeing in the last 2 bubbles where we're headed. This quarter we'll put out the resource report, and we're looking to move the project to an economic study, a pre-feasibility for this year, 2019. So we're moving very aggressively, adding value to a very significant deposit. Thank you very much.